So my dude's Valkyrja, and today I'm going to be comparing Yelan and Xingqiu, showing you why Yelan is probably one of the best Hydro DPS or Hydro characters period in the game. Now I say that because right now whenever I compare them, they're going to be somewhat similar. The one thing I'm going to get out of the way really quick, you can see Yelan has all of her artifacts off except for the sands. The sands are very comparable, 7% crit rate, 30% crit damage. We go over to Xingqiu, we can see he's 10 crit rate, 20 crit damage. So very comparable. That's going to be the only difference between the two. Other than that, the artifacts are all going to be the same. And she is 6, 7, and 7. Meanwhile, Xingqiu is 2, 9, and 11. We're going to be looking mostly at their off-field DPS capabilities. And I'm going to be showing you why Yelan is probably one of the best DPS in the game. Here is the weapon lineup. Sack Sword for Xingqiu. And for Yelan, we have Elegy for the end, which is obviously a better weapon. She has the advantage as far as weapon goes. But first, we are going to be going over Xingqiu's damage. So, for us to showcase Xingqiu's damage, we are going to go to the Primo Geo Bishop. You can see we have no real buffers in the team aside from Zhongli. We have Raiden here as the main driver, but she's just going to be doing normal attacks is really all she's going to be doing. And we're going to be looking at raw damage. Keep in mind with raw damage is going to get exponentially higher the more buffs you apply to it. So a difference in raw damage is going to be very telling as far as the rest of the build goes. So as we get over here, I'm going to get over here and I'm going to show you guys the exact artifacts we're using. So you can have a good gauge of how well Xingqiu or Yelan would perform compared to your Xingqiu or Yelan. So you can decide for yourself whether or not you want Xingqiu or Yelan. Basically, we're going to go here with the artifacts. We are going to look. You can see, has lots of HP, lots of crit damage, lots of crit rate, crit damage, onset Hydro, very, very cracked sands. I use that on my Eula, a very cracked feather, and then a very cracked flower. So now that you have seen the artifacts, because these are going to be almost the exact same artifacts on Yelan, let's go ahead and showcase Xingqiu's damage. Then we'll teleport out and make sure to swap them around. So now we're going to go over, and it's Hydro. That kind of hurts for testing purposes because the damage is going to be reduced, but it's perfectly fine. So here, we're going to look at the skill damage first. You can see that doesn't really count. It is 494, and I think that was 13,516. Here we have about 4K a hit, 4K a hit. Yeah, it's about 4K a hit each. Sometimes we get, it looks like 5 swords occasionally. But for the most part, we get 3 to 2, 2, 3, and 5 swords. Pretty good damage, around 4K a hit, and then looked like he did like 15K on the E. I do want to do another E real quick, just to make sure. That was a 9.8K, 9.8K, and then 11K on the second hit. So somewhere around 20K in E, and we're looking at about 4K per sword. The swords range between 2 to 5 swords. It goes 2, 3, 5, so about 4K a sword, and then about 20K in E. Now keep in mind that Kazuha's talent levels are way higher than hers. He is 9 and he is 11, and talent levels and scaling is immense. So now we're going to swap these artifacts over. We're going to pick out all of Kazuha's artifacts, so they have the Xingqiu's artifacts, so they all have the exact same, except for as far as sands go. And Yelan does have a better weapon in Elegy, but she scales with HP, so it's not that big of a deal. And then here's her sands, so you can see the one difference we are going to have between the two, which is this Sands of Eon right here. It really, really cracked sands. One of the main reasons I'm using it is because it's so damn good. So now we're going to reset. We're going right back to the Primo Bishop, and we're doing it again. This time we're going to do it with Yelan and see how much damage she does, see how consistent her damage is, and see how it stacks up to Xingqiu. I'm going to do a little bit of a spoiler alert. I've already tested it, and Yelan's damage is considerably more. Given buffers are going to make it a lot different. You got to keep in mind, this is a Hydro Geo Bishop too. So he's going to have a lot of Hydro resistance, but it's still going to give us a good example. Xingqiu's skill is going to look really strong too because of the fact that it ignores defense. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to go here, and now we're going to do this. Wait for him to wake up. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Yeah, we're going to wait for him to wake up. Then we're going to pop the skill. How much damage does the skill do? 1776. That's the day America was made. So now we're going to pop the ult. How much damage does the ult do? Initial hit is 8K, and now we're at 5K per hit. 4K, 4K, 6K, 6K. Can we get a 7K? We're getting some 7Ks in there. And you guys get the idea. It is considerably more. Keep in mind that it can be much higher as well. Here we've ran out of buffs, so we're at 15,236. And keep in mind, she is also many talent levels lower than him. If we go look at the talent levels real quick, just to like once again show you guys, we are at 7 talent levels versus his 11. As far as the ult goes and skills, 7 versus 9. And not to mention, Kazuha's C4 is insane. Kazuha's C4 has a completely different scaling. This is what I meant by I thought it ignores defense. It doesn't ignore defense. It has a completely different scaling on C4, so the skill hits really, really hard. Kazuha's skill hits harder, but Yelan's ult hits much harder. Now, as far as vape and all that stuff goes, I'm not testing that because I'm not good with that stuff. I'm not very knowledgeable, but I can test stuff like this very, very easily because I feel like this is simple. Unga boonga, bigger number, better. And as far as bigger number goes, Yelan wins by a mile because once you start plugging in buffers like Kazuha or basically anybody like Raiden Shogun, if I had Raiden Shogun's ult active too, plus Kazuha, the difference becomes bigger and bigger because Yelan hits that much harder. So basically, for the people who wanted Yelan for reasons outside of she leashing you and stepping on you like the guy in the trailer, for people who wanted her beyond being a Dami mommy, and they just wanted her because they wanted to know if she's good or not, she is insane. Like I said before she came out, I easily predicted she was going to be a top 10 unit in the game, and I stand by that fully. I think she is cracked. And I think one of the most cracked things about her, unironically, is exactly what I called out. This passive right here is insane. This is a huge damage buff passive that lets her just be absolutely cracked off the field, and then the fact that she can get up to 30% max HP just by having an actual balanced team. The team I normally run her in is this team, but swap out Xingqiu for Kazuha, and that's the team I run her in. Anyways, that's the video. Wanted to show you guys why Yelan's one of the best Hydro units in the game, if not the best Hydro unit in the game. In my opinion, she is. There's going to be a lot of Kokomi fans that are going to be very upset with me saying that, but I do think she's the best Hydro unit in the game. But yeah, she is incredibly cracked at C0. She's really, really good, and I don't even have her max invested. She's level 80, and because she scales with max HP, levels are insanely important on her. So she's going to be so much stronger at level 90, and then not to mention if you get her to level 10, on the talents, the scaling will go absolutely insane, and they will be very, very, very strong. Anyways, thank you guys for watching as always. Hopefully you guys understand you don't need any of this. And hopefully you guys really enjoy your Yelan if you manage to get her. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.